Good morning. First off, let me apologise for the terrible quality of this YouTube video, but I'm heading to the office. It's Sunday. What time is it? 8:30 in the morning on a Sunday. You join me in the car on the way to the office, and this is the only 10 minutes that I have to make a video, try and say something of value for you guys. So ultimately, we're going to have to deal with it. We're going to have to deal with the iPhone. We've got a short trip to the office, and the reason why I'm recording this and the reason why I only have a limited amount of time to record YouTube videos and kind of do this sort of stuff is because we've been through recently probably the biggest or the most busy period of time that I can remember in the business, and it's fantastic and I love it and it's everything that I've ever wanted. We're basically delivering 6 events in 3 weeks. So last week I was in Scotland for 3 days. I came back and had 3, so then we had Thursday, Friday, Saturday in office, Sunday off. On Monday I went to London. I was there all week. We did 2 events, one day event and then one 2-day event in London. Came back on Friday. I had yesterday off. I'm going into the office today, and then we're going to New York tomorrow, which is, yeah, it's mental and it's amazing, and it's, like I said, it's everything that I've ever wanted. But I think that the narrative that's out there online is that the natural feast and famine cycle and these natural ebbs and flows of life is something that is wrong, and something that we should, be working on the business to try and fix the inconsistencies within projects and revenue and like that feast and famine cycle that I just mentioned, right? But I've been doing this for a long time now. I can tell you that no amount of marketing, no amount of consistent inputs is going to entirely solve this issue of feast and famine, because ultimately what you're doing, if you build a consistent system, right, you will have consistency, no doubt. Over the long period you will have consistency. Building a system of consistent inputs, it will produce consistent outputs. But what it fails to take into account is that the people who are running the systems, i.e. the humans, because we're not in a world of robots yet, but the humans that are running the systems have emotions, and we have different energy, and we're busy at certain times, and we're fallible, and we forget things, right? You also have existing clients, specifically with the events industry, because the dates are fixed, right? It's not like a case of I can say to a client, oh, let me push you a week and we'll get that shoot done just a week later or a week earlier even, right? The dates are what they are, and we have to conform our schedule and our level of effort to fit those dates. But going back to the previous point that I was making, as humans, we are naturally inconsistent creatures. There are, the David Goggins of the world, and no doubt there are super or hyper consistent people in the world. But for your average human being, that's just not the case, right? They don't want to live like that. They'd rather be a bit more spontaneous. They'd rather their life have some kind of spice and spontaneity within it, which ultimately means that the feast and famine cycle, I believe, is a dichotomy to be managed, not a problem to be solved. And I think that the way that you have to manage it, and the way that you have to operate during those feast times, is just to give it everything that you've got, right? For example, in January, currently, we've got one shoot, right? One job booked in January, and it is the 7th of December today. Now, you might say, like, whatever, that work, more work will come in, and I know it will because it always does. But I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about the fact that in January we have no work, right? Because this period of time right now has been so busy. Like, since September, we're now at the start of December, but since September it has been the busiest that I've ever known it be. And to be honest, I am totally okay with the fact that in January there is nothing, or there's one shoot which doesn't take a lot to prep for, there's no post-production on the back of it, and it will allow me to do the things that I should have been doing from a consistency perspective, right, throughout these months that I just haven't had the chance to do, because as a human, I am fallible, right? And that's okay, you know? This is the whole thing of like, you know, to these coaches and gurus and online business mentors and all of that sort of stuff. Like there's the standard people in the kind of the video space, and they constantly harp on about like this consistent workflow and this consistent leads and consistent appointments and consistent quotes. And yes, like that's fantastic, right? But there will always be periods of time where things change, because we're humans, right? Like there's going to be times where in a month 5 of your previous clients come back to you and say, hey, I want to work on another project, right? There's going to be times where you are super consistent with your outreach, or you have a bit more money to put into paid ads and your leads bump that way, right? This is the point, is that balance and consistency can be achieved over a long period of time, or a longer period of time than days and weeks and months. Like I said, since September, September, October, November, and now we're in December. So for 3 months, I've been literally flat the fuck out. It has been, it's been exhausting, and we're just about to eclipse the end of it. We're just about reaching escape velocity of this very dogged period of time that we find ourselves in at the moment. However, in January, I have the opportunity to take it a bit easier and work on the marketing and launch the new website that I've been trying to do and organize all of my files, which I've been trying to do, right? It doesn't have to be a case that I'm out 1 or 2 days a week and I do these things and I do those other things 1 or 2 days a week. In a perfect world, yes, that would be lovely, but how fucking boring is that, right? Like, how boring is a life where ultimately you do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again? The variety is the spice of life. And I think in this job, if you are a videographer and you've chosen to do this job and you've chosen to live in the chaos that is our world, you're probably wired towards the fact that you need different stimulation to keep things interesting for you, right? I would guess, because if you're not, then you're in the wrong fucking job, buddy. Like, it's as simple as that, right? In November, we had a 2-week downtime period where we weren't out on any shoots. I could just be in the office, and it was really nice because I got to kind of you know, do like a mini catch up, like take a mini breath and then go back under the water. And towards the end of that 2 weeks, I couldn't wait to get out, right? I couldn't wait to get back out there again. I couldn't wait to start, you know, to make some beautiful frames and start filming and talking to people and experiencing, you know, experiencing life and working with cool clients. Like, that's what I love to do. But when you do it constantly, right? When it's been a period of time like it has now, yeah, it gets exhausting, right? And that's okay, right? I think that like all of this is kind of just leading to the conclusion of me saying that really you have to take a pinch of salt, or you have to take the things that the coaches and the gurus and the people who seem to have it all figured out, you have to take what they say with a pinch of salt, because I guarantee you that their client flow is not as consistent as they make it out to be, or that their video business wasn't as consistent as they want to tell you in their fucking VSLs and paid ads and all of this sort of stuff, right? Like, you have to realize that this is an industry that is built on mad periods of time and mad rushes and big financial feasts and then famine times, and you just have to be able to protect yourself against it, right? Understand what you need to do when things are super busy to maintain your energy consistency and overall kind of physical and mental health, and then also probably exactly the same in the famine cycles as well. So that's it. We're pulling up to the office now. I've been rambling for 9 minutes and 11 seconds, but hopefully you kind of got something out of this. Hopefully, like, if you are that younger version of me that was kind of taken with some of the things that people were saying and thinking that feast and famine ultimately is a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just the nature of our industry. And I think that a lot of people would be a lot happier and a lot more contented if they didn't think that there was something wrong with them, and they understood that this was just the nature of their industry, the nature of the industry that they've chosen, and this is the world that they want to play in. All right, have a great Christmas and New Year's. Talk to you soon.